Which website do you think ChatGPT made? This one or this one? In this video, I used ChatGPT to recreate a website I made using basic HTML and JavaScript. Can it help you code websites? Stick around to the end to see it in its full effect. Let's begin. So I created this very simple landing page here, and it just has a top section that says welcome to my landing page, a button that pops up with an alert that says hello from ChatGPT, and then a picture here, and then an OpenAI description here. So we're gonna see if ChatGPT can recreate this exact website. I built this in Bootstrap, so I'm going to be asking it to use Bootstrap as well. Here you can see the code for the website that's running right now, for the example website. And then I also have a folder for ChatGPT with an empty index.html file where I'll be putting all the code from ChatGPT, and we're gonna see if we can recreate this website that I made. All right, so let's start off. Let's ask it, create a website with Bootstrap 5, and hopefully it'll give us a starting point. So it's taking a little bit to think here, and now it's starting to write. To create a website with Bootstrap 5, you need to install Bootstrap, create an HTML file for your website, link the CSS and JavaScript files, use the Bootstrap grid system to create a responsive layout, Okay, so it's giving me bullet points, but I need code. It's giving me an example with a basic website layout here. And this is what we're gonna put into the editor, and hopefully we can use ChatGPT to recreate a website. If we do this successfully, then that means you could use ChatGPT as a tool to help you with web development. All right, here we go. So it's making all the required stuff, and it's actually making a container with a row here. This is good. So this already looks very similar to what I have on the original code, where I have a container here and I have a row here and then the column. So this is already looking good. Okay, so it's still typing out the code. I'm gonna wait for it to finish, then I'm gonna paste it in. All right, here we go. Copy code, and I'm gonna put that in our empty index.html file. It looks like it didn't finish at the bottom here for some reason, so I'm just gonna get rid of this script and finish off the HTML here with body and then HTML, and then I'm also gonna beautify it, and then that should give us our starting point. So let's open it and see what it looks like. It looks like there was a bunch of errors coming from the scripts. So I'm just gonna replace them with known links, and let's see. Okay, so I replaced that with the right links, and now we don't have any errors in the console, but we also don't have any content. It does have all the divs and the containers here, but there's no content in them. So let's ask it to add some content based on the website I have here. So first, let's ask it to add a navbar that says ChatGPT landing page. Add a navbar that says ChatGPT landing page. Let's see if it can use the already existing code and insert it into it. Okay, here we go. It's giving me some code. To add a navbar, you can use the nav component and the navbar class. Here's an example of how to do it. You can also use additional links to the navbar by using nav item, nav link classes. Okay, so it's typing out this example here. Okay, there we go. It just gave me the code for the navbar. I'm gonna see if it can insert it in the previous code. Can you insert this into the previous code? So it's taking a while to think here. I don't know if it'll be able to do this. Oh wow. So it's giving me the updated HTML code that includes the navbar that says ChatGPT landing page. So all I had to do was ask it to put it into the previous code of here. Now it's gonna insert it. It's really cool. So let's see where it puts it. So it put it at the top of body, which seems about right. It's currently inserting the navbar code at the top of the body in the previous HTML that it gave me. So it's literally just coding and building the website as I ask it to. Let's see how this looks when it's done. Okay, there we go. It looks like it's finished. So I'm just gonna copy this body and not the other stuff because some of the links are messed up. And let's see how it looks. Okay, one thing I did notice is it didn't close the body tag, but I'm pretty sure that's because it doesn't finish the scripts for some reason. It might have like a max length to when it's talking to other people where it prohibits it from typing too much stuff. So, but yeah, let's put this in here and see what it looks like. Put it in here. I'm gonna beautify it. And let's see, let's go back to our website and let's see what it looks like. Boom, there we go. We have the navbar, and while it's not exactly like the one I have, it's still a navbar. The next thing is I want to remove these 3 buttons, and I want to make the ChatGPT bold. So let's ask it to do that. Remove the 3 links from the navbar and make ChatGPT bold. Okay, so it's updating the code for me. I literally don't have to do anything but ask it to do stuff. And I do think this Bootstrap code is a bit outdated compared to the one I'm using, so it's not gonna look exactly the same for sure. I think it's using outdated examples, but it's still in concept building the website when I ask it to. So here it's rebuilding the navbar without the links. Then I also asked it to bold the ChatGPT, where it recognized from Bootstrap docs or wherever that you can use the class font weight bold here, so it added it. Really cool stuff. Okay, so here it gives me the updated code with the font weight bold. Down here it says this will create a navbar with the brand name and no links, and then it'll also be in bold. If you want to add the links back to the navbar, it tells me how to do that. So let me just get this code without the links and paste it in here. Let's do that, replace the whole nav. And let's see what it looks like now. Boom, now we have ChatGPT. I also realized that this was already bold, so me asking it to add bold didn't really make sense. Yeah, it did add bold to an already bolded word. Okay, now I'm gonna ask it to give some left and right margins to this navbar. Add some left and right margins to the navbar so it's not full width. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, so it's adding a bottom margin, which isn't really what I wanted. It does say MX Auto, which does add left and right margins, so we'll see how it looks, but the bottom margin I didn't ask for. So it's not completely accurate, but slowly we're getting there. And then also in this example, it seems to have the links back again, which is weird. So I guess after it showed me this example with the links, it just reverted back to that in its memory, even though I asked it to get rid of the links. Be centered on the page. Okay, let's see if this is any different. And I'm gonna copy the code here. I'm also gonna get rid of the links like we had before, because I don't need that. And I don't think I need this button either. And let's beautify that. Okay, so it looks exactly the same. It didn't do what I asked it to. Maybe if we add padding instead. Add a left and right padding to the navbar. Maybe this will get it closer to where we are. So there was an error, and I realized that I should just add padding around the whole thing. So I'm gonna ask it, add padding around, I can't spell padding. Add padding around the navbar. Oh, it's telling me that too many requests. Add padding around the navbar. What do you mean slow down? Okay, so it errored out, and hopefully I can restore it back to this state. So I'm going to re-ask it and hopefully get us back to where we were. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask it, add padding to this navbar in Bootstrap. Okay, so it looks like it's reading from the docs here, telling me how to add the padding, and then it's gonna give me an example on how to do it. So it's giving me 3 different examples on how to add padding. The first one is left and right, the second one is top and bottom, and then the third, it looks like, is just a different way of doing it. Oh, it's giving me 4 examples. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the top one, and let's go in and see if it gives us the padding that we wanted. Oh yeah, there we go, boom. So it padded that. That is what I wanted, and you know, that's close enough to what we have here. So I'm gonna move on to the next step. The next step is to create this Jumbotron. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to add a Jumbotron under this navbar. Add a Jumbotron under the navbar. Let's see if it can understand. That's kind of a complex query. Add a Jumbotron under the navbar with a title, with a description, and a button that says click me, I do something. Let's see if it can recognize and understand what I'm asking it. There we go. To add a Jumbotron under the navbar, the description, use the following HTML and Bootstrap classes. So yeah, it's giving me the code for it. Awesome, let's see. This will create a full width Jumbotron with a white background, blue text. Let's copy the code and see what it looks like. So I'm gonna get rid of these containers here and copy this code, and then let's see. So it made something, but it doesn't really look anything like a Jumbotron, and I think this is because Bootstrap 5 actually got rid of the Jumbotron class, so I have to ask it to make it in Bootstrap 5. So let's redo that response, but ask it to do it in Bootstrap 5. And I'm just gonna copy my text here in Bootstrap 5. And hopefully this will let it retrieve the updated docs with how to make a Jumbotron without the actual class. Okay, so it says Bootstrap 5, but it's not really understanding that Bootstrap 5 doesn't have Jumbotron anymore. I'm gonna ask it one more time, but I'm gonna ask it Bootstrap maybe like 5.2. Oh, here we go. The Jumbotron class has been renamed to Jumbotron Fluid. Okay, maybe hold on, let's look at this code. The code looks the same though, so I don't think it's gonna change. All right, let's see. Yeah, no, this code looks exactly the same. Maybe if I add a container around it, it would look more like a normal Jumbotron. Not really. So if you look at the example code, the way the Jumbotron is made is right here. It just uses container fluid instead of the Jumbotron fluid. And this isn't accurate either. I'm gonna ask it one more time in Bootstrap like 5.2. Hopefully it finally gets it. Bootstrap 5.2. Let's see. No, so even with Bootstrap 5.2, it's still giving me this Jumbotron fluid, so it's not right. I will replace the Jumbotron fluid with container fluid and get rid of Jumbotron, and I'm hoping, you know, it looks normal. I think we can add padding to the edges to make it look, you know, more rounded like this, and add padding here to make it a little bigger. So I'm gonna ask it to add 20px of padding inside the Jumbotron. Okay, so it recognizes you can use the py classes, which actually, if you look at this example website here, it has py5 around the container, which I'm pretty sure is adding the padding inside. So let's see. All right, let's copy this code and let's keep this in the container. Okay, there we go. It's a little bigger now. You know, it's getting there. I think we need like 50 pixels instead. So add 50 pixels of padding all around the Jumbotron. Okay, so it gave me the code here, and it's giving me another example, but I'm gonna use this code that it gave me, and let's see how that looks. Okay, so it's looking a lot more like this. Let's ask it to change the colors. I want dark gray and then the blue button. Change the background to dark gray and make the button blue. So what's weird here is that it gave me an example of py5, px5, and then here it changes it back to py4, px4, which is weird, but it did add, you know, what I wanted to, I hope. So let's see. And I'm gonna change these back to the 5 and the 5 that it used to have. And then let's see. Boom, okay. Wow, it's getting really, really similar now. So I think we should add even more padding. I'm thinking like 80 pixels. Yeah, let's do 80, and then let's round the corners. So add 80 pixels of padding inside, all around the inside of the Jumbotron, and round the corners. So it gave me the 80 pixels of padding, and then it's telling me that border radius large is going to add the rounded corners, which is what we want. So let's see. Code here. And okay, so for some reason it reset back. I think that's because py8, pyx8 maybe don't exist. Let's go to our example code. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it goes any further from py5 and 5. Since ChatGPT is building this, we are going to keep what it gave us. All right, so the next thing on the example website, when I click me, it'll give me an alert that says hello from ChatGPT. And I want to see if ChatGPT can actually add the same thing to this button. So let's ask it. Oh, and I also realized the corners aren't curved or rounded at all. So it didn't do that right. It seems like it's using information that's a little bit outdated and pertains to Bootstrap 4, but I'm asking it to use Bootstrap 5. But anyways, let's see if it can add this alert to the button. When the button is clicked, I want it to alert the text hello from ChatGPT. Okay, so let's see if it can do a little bit of JavaScript here. If you look at the example website that I have here, I just put in a line alert here without any, you know, extra JavaScript files or scripts. I just put it inline on the onClick, so I'm hoping it realizes how to do that. All right, so it seems like it's overloaded with other requests. Okay, so it looks like I lost my progress again. I'm gonna have to refresh, but I'm gonna tell it here, make the button in this Jumbotron alert hello from ChatGPT when clicked, and then I'm gonna give it the code. So yeah, it seems like if you keep talking to it, it can lose its progress sometimes, and I'm sure that's because, you know, their systems are having a hard time scaling with all the users using this. Okay, so it gave me this code. It's not the inline code, the easy code that I have. I'm just gonna put this in a script tag at the bottom like it tells me, and let's see if it works. So here we go, script, and let's just paste that in there and beautify it. And let's go back to our ChatGPT generated website. And when I click the button, boom, it says hello from ChatGPT, just like this one. So awesome. Now all that's left is adding these two Jumbotrons and then the footer with the copyright. So let's ask it to add two Jumbotrons at the bottom. Add a row of two Jumbotrons below that one, inside padding of 50 pixels. Okay, there we go. We got the code and we got our explanation here at the bottom. So let's see if this works. Okay, under this Jumbotron here, I'm gonna add our code. I'm gonna go back to the website. boom, it's starting to look a little bit like this one. And what's funny is that also, remember the colors of this Jumbotron? These similar to the one up here. So, okay. The first thing I'm gonna do is, I wonder if this padding is around the Jumbotrons. Padding 5. So it looks like it added the padding around the Jumbotrons, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna remove them here. And yeah, that'll make them closer like that. And then I also want them to be together, so they're not perfectly in line, but whatever, it's good enough for the example. So now let's ask it to change the left one to ChatGPT and then this picture. So change the bottom left Jumbotron background color to green, change the title to ChatGPT, and add a picture from the URL. Let's see if it can handle that request. Okay, so give me the updated code, but funny enough, it actually changed the bottom right Jumbotron, I'm pretty sure. So let's put it in here and see what it spit out. Okay, so it put the picture, but it's very, very large. I'm gonna see if I can make this smaller. In the example here, the picture is set to 40% width. So I'm gonna ask it, make the picture 40% width, and hopefully that'll make it smaller. Okay, there we go. It added the width in a style tag and gave us some CSS, but this is the one I'm gonna use. So let's change this, and boom, now we have that, but there is no Jumbotron. I have no idea where it went. It's still here. I think this text white is probably, background is green. Yeah, the background's not green at all. So I think it doesn't realize that background green isn't valid, and it would actually be, I think, background success. So I'm just gonna change that. So obviously it's not perfect. Remove the description in the second Jumbotron, and that's here. Okay, let's see if it understands. All right, yeah, it understood my request. You can simply delete the p-class lead, and then here's the updated HTML code. There we go. The updated code got rid of that. So we can just replace the code here, go back, and boom, you know, it looks pretty similar, except it's on the other side. So I'm gonna ask it to flip these Jumbotrons. Move the right Jumbotron to the left, and the left Jumbotron to the right. I want to see if it'll be able to switch them. Okay, to swap the positions. I should have just said that. Okay, you can simply switch the order. All right, it understands. So let's let it finish here. Okay, so it switched the content, and I'm going to swap it as well. There we go. And boom, now it's on the left, and it's starting to look more like our thing. But I also realized, for some reason, the description is still there. Let's see. Well, deleted the description here, and then when I asked it to swap them, it still had the description. So I feel like it doesn't remember or save a lot of the changes I do, and it keeps like using the original code I gave it. So it's definitely a flaw. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete this manually. Okay, there we go. And it is kind of bothering me actually. So let's make these Jumbotrons in line with the top one. Make the bottom row in line with the top Jumbotron. Okay, so it's telling me that all I have to do is add this align item start. So I don't know if that's true, but let's add it. Okay, it did nothing. So it didn't really do what I was asking it to. That's fine, I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. And let's change the Jumbotron on the right to red and then give it this text. All right, so I said second Jumbotrons, but it's changing the first. So it doesn't really understand like first, second, bottom. It has a little bit of trouble distinguishing that. So that's definitely a flaw as well. And then as it keeps going here, the code color just seems broken. So its brain seems to be melting a little bit. It did give me the code here. So I'm gonna copy this, but I'm only going to copy it to our second one, which is what we wanted originally. So you can't get ChatGPT to code everything for you. You will still have to have some knowledge of web development to know where to place stuff, but it can definitely be a help. And there we go, OpenAI. Okay, the picture is still there. Let's get rid of that picture. All right, so the original site looks like this. Here's ChatGPT's version. It's a little screwed up, but all right, last thing, let's add this copyright 2022 footer. So add a footer that has the text sticky bottom footer. I'm gonna say sticky because I want it all the way at the bottom. That has the text. And yeah, as I mentioned before, you would still need some web development knowledge to know what to ask ChatGPT. Like, I know that at the bottom here it's called a footer, and if I want it to stick on the bottom all the time, it's just called a sticky footer. So I know the example website doesn't have a sticky footer because it doesn't stick, but let's see if ChatGPT can add this to our code. And yeah, as I was saying before, you still need knowledge of web development to be able to ask it, you know, detailed questions and to be able to direct it how you want. So I knew like this thing at the bottom was called a footer. This is a header, navbar. You still need to be familiar with web development and terminology to be able to build these websites, but ChatGPT can be a great tool to just help you and give you some code that you can then piece together. Okay, here we go. And we have our footer here. So let's add it at the bottom of everything. There, and there we go. We have a sticky footer. It's not exactly like the one in the example, but I just wanted to show that we could do a sticky footer. But yeah, this is the ChatGPT generated website, and this was my generated website. So, you know, this one looks a lot better, obviously, because of the positioning and stuff. And I'm sure with enough fiddling around, I could get this to look exactly like this, but I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to show that ChatGPT can be a useful tool for helping you with your web development. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad. You just need to fix some of the positioning and sizing, and that's it. I think it's pretty cool. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to subscribe and like the video. I'm making a lot of content during the winter, and I don't want you to miss out. Thanks for watching, and peace.